welcome to Werks. Today is another episode of my 52 cards in 52 weeks challenge. Last week I drew this Jack of Diamonds, which says charging station. So that's what we'll be building today.
Right now I just have a single charger screwed to the wall, which works okay, but I would like to have two. And I also have this area for my drills, but they don't really fit very well now that I have sheathing on the walls. When they were just studs, they fit in there just fine. But I'm going to just cut out some plywood to start. I want to build a simple box that will hold a couple drills and also the chargers. So I'm squaring up all that plywood. I've cut it to the same width. And I'm going to cut a taper in the top of this to lean the chargers forward so it makes the batteries easier to get in and out. And I'll just find what that angle is. I think it was around 22 degrees. And cut that on the miter saw. I cut both pieces at the same time. And then I can match that same angle on the table saw. So I can have that one piece that will tilt. And just referencing that line. I didn't do a whole lot of measuring here. I just kind of went for it and kind of threw this thing together. This was a quick and easy build, and sometimes that's the best way to do these kinds of projects for just little shop upgrades. And then I can set up a dado stack in the table saw. I could have easily just taken a bunch of passes with a single blade, but I just find it so much faster to set up a dado stack, and I cut out a couple test pieces to make sure everything fits. I set my dado height to about 1/4 inch, so overall this thing's about 12 inches wide. And then I can lay out these pieces on the bottom. This is where the drills are going to hang from. This is actually going to only hold 3 drills, which probably seems like kind of an odd number, but that's the amount of drills I have in my shop. And I want to just kind of build this little one and see how it works for me for now. And I can run those dados through. I used a sacrificial fence where I have the blade going right against the fence. That way I don't damage anything. So I can run those dados through and then begin working on the pieces that actually hold the drills. For the pieces to actually hold the drills, I'm using some maple. I just have some offcuts, so you could use any kind of wood here. And you can see this is kind of how it's laid out. I haven't nailed anything together yet, but this is the general idea. And then I can run those pieces of maple through the dado stack as well, so they all lock in there. And I'm pre-drilling most of the stuff. I didn't want to see screws, so everywhere on the inside or on the bottom I screwed it together, but everywhere else I was going to use trim nails. And I always pre-drill with a countersink that keeps the wood from splitting and always looks a lot nicer. So with the dados and the screws, this goes together in a matter of minutes. And I can just start gluing and screwing everything together, and I'm just doing these little pieces one at a time. And you'll see how these hang down. These are going to fit into the other dado pieces that I made. With those little pieces made, I can hit the edges with a block plane and then some sanding just to make them nice and smooth. And with those little hangers put together, I can begin to glue and screw those to the piece above. Those just nest into those dados. And then I can begin to screw the sides on. These sides are the pieces with that taper. And then there's a top piece that goes in as well. And that top piece is where the chargers will actually get screwed to. So I have a nice storage area for some drill bits and batteries and stuff, along with having the space for the drills themselves. And I decided I would hang this with a little French cleat, so I just ran this piece through the saw. I don't even think I did a 45-degree angle. I think I did a 30-degree angle. And then I nailed this piece into the back, making sure everything was nice and snug. And sanded everything out. Just did a light sanding. And then I went around and just filled the nail holes. This is totally unnecessary, but I still wanted to pretty this thing up just a little bit. And then just a little bit of light hand sanding around to ease all the edges off of everything else. You can see how these chargers work. There's 2 screws that hold them in place. It's a little bit finicky to get these exactly right, but it does work. I wish there would just be a screw hole that ran all the way through the charger. That would make them a lot easier to mount, and I think it would make them a lot more secure too. Sometimes they slip off these screws, so I tried to get these as tight as I could and just adjust them so these are really kind of force fit on there, because I don't want them to come off. Sometimes they do when you pull the batteries off, and that's kind of a hassle. I can run the wire through to try to have a little bit of wire management here. I wasn't going crazy, but I don't like when wires are hanging all over the place. And then I can just screw that cleat to the wall and drop the charging station on there. And you can see I have 2 of the bigger Milwaukee drills and one of the smaller ones, so the smaller one just fits upside down. And now I finally have a home for all my drill bits and stuff, and I can also stick a couple batteries up here.
So I'm pretty happy with how my charging station came out, but I'm going to now pick my card for next week. a paint gun holder. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and next week I will be making a stand for my paint gun holder, so come on back for that. As always, thanks for watching.